Today I took on the impossible challenge of turning one of the most common starter bases into the best base you'll ever see on Rust. The base itself fits on a single TC, is impossible to online raid, and is the only YouTube base that is actually easy to build and follow. And today I'm going to show you guys exactly how to build it right after the tour of the base. So welcome everybody to the tour of my 2x1. From the outside here we have a bunch of different peaks which we'll check out when we get upstairs. For the actual entrance itself we have a turret above our front door which, as you can see, aggroes me from most of the areas that door campers might sit, and coming through the garage door we have another turret protecting us from getting deeped on, as well as shot fronts on either side to look outside of the base. Continuing up the front door jump up, we have a garage door to the right which is actually our roof jump up that we'll check out in a sec. Instead we'll go through this single door which can be used as a retake, especially if it's an armored door, as we can use the hatch to shoot through like so. Even if we only have a sheet door here, we can still use a pay-to-win skin to see through the glass before opening and shooting. But continuing on, our upstairs of the 2x1 has plenty of space for deployables, including quite literally whatever you want. For me, I personally went for a turret, a loot room, a bed and a repair bench, as well as these on either side that have 3 small boxes and a medium battery. And one of my favorite parts of this base is this window here. Not only is the garage door controllable from the inside, but if we pick up this window, we get a clear shot on our front door or our roof, which is very handy in all stages of white. But anyway, coming down our furnace jump up, we're greeted with the only other armored single door on the base, and that leads into our regular 2x1. Once again, deployables are completely up to you. I'll also mention that in the starter of this base, we have a regular 2-door airlock, but we end up soft siding that and changing it to a garage door later. Anyway, here is our upkeep. Yours will probably look a little different depending on your upgrade path, and as always, you can find the build cost and the upkeep cost for each stage, as well as the sanctuary code in the description below. Finally, we'll come up to our roof jump up, which is protected by a turret, and what you do up here is completely up to you. I personally went for this sort of vending machine bedroom setup which can only be accessed from this side. And as for the peaks up here, we have some really nice anti-raid base peaks. As you can see, anyone running down from the raid base here will be easy to kill without being exposed to the actual raid base itself, and that is of course similar to these downwards angle peaks which focus on anyone camping right up against our walls. Picking up this window, we have a really nice and simple crouch window here, and directly above we have some optional heli takes, and then that is obviously identical on the other side. And coming through either of these garage doors we have more similar peaks, mainly focusing on downwards angles, as well as these which are pretty much identical to those ones. However, what we can do is jump up here and we now have angles on our front door and the back of the base as well. We have more downwards angles here, and I like these peaks a lot because if you crouch on the box you get a really nice angle as well as standing up, and of course these ones are also raid base protected. Finally, jumping up here we have more peaks which in my opinion are best when we stand here as we have a lot more mobility. We also have heli takes above, and then if we come over here we have some really nice roof retakes. Speaking of the roof, coming out we have a garage door on either side, as well as turret spots and optional wind turbine placements too. We can also use these retakes as more peaks outside, and as for the roof, you could probably manage to land a mini here if you're skilled enough. But anyway, that is it for the base. If you guys could show some extra support by simply commenting something about the base, that would be greatly appreciated. If you guys do prefer this sort of base or a bunkered, also please let me know. And finally, thanks for watching.